Concorde, an aircraft that despite its troubled start managed to enter the skies and entered commercial service in 1976 through to a rough ending in 2004. Air France Flight 4590 crashed into Gonesse, a suburb of Paris, on the 25th of July, year 2000. This fateful crash was caused by a small strip of metal that fell off the engine of the flight beforehand and punctured the tyre of Concorde, sending chunks of rubber into the fuel tanks, causing them to rupture, spilling masses of burning fuel out the engine and causing it to lose thrust. This sadly ended Concorde's short story, but this was not the start of the end. Concorde entered service in 1976 after only 20 were built, 6 of which never entered commercial service. This was mostly due to costs and Russian competition failing, causing distrust in the supersonic passenger industry. The first aircraft to break the sound barrier was the Bell X-1 after being dropped from the belly of a Boeing B-29. Since this breakthrough in 1947, military aviation has been using supersonic flight to aid in quick response and outrunning enemy aircraft. But Concorde was the only successful attempt to use supersonic flight for passenger transport. Although the Russian Tu-144 was technically the first commercial passenger supersonic transport, it never entered service as it crashed during the 1973 Paris Air Show. This left potential Concorde customers with a bad taste, as it was almost a direct copy, hence why only 14 Concordes ever entered service. In this modern day and age, a twin-engined, wide-body design with very efficient engines and extreme passenger comfort is favoured over high speed and high cost. Aircraft such as the Boeing 787 Dreamliner and the Airbus A350 can now cover the same distance as Concorde did, such as the London to New York flight, although they take almost 3 times as long to complete the flight. However, the cabin is kept at a higher pressure and the engines use much less fuel, meaning that passengers and potential customers prefer this level of higher comfort and lower ticket prices. However, as soon as 2022, we could have multiple new supersonic aircrafts on the scene, as Boom Technologies, Lockheed and Aerion Corporation are all individually developing new quiet boom aircraft. One of Concorde's biggest flaws was the tremendous noise of its sonic boom. A sonic boom is a shockwave of sound energy that gets emitted from the trailing edge of an aircraft after it punches its way through the sound barrier. Concorde's reached an ear-splitting sound of 100 to 110 decibels. In comparison, a quiet boom aircraft will create noise of around 70 decibels, or around the same as a lawnmower in your neighbour's garden. This meant that Concorde could only go supersonic over the open oceans, drastically reducing its service area. These new aircraft won't have this problem. Testing the aerodynamics of a new aircraft was painstaking, requiring the costly use of scale models and wind tunnels. Aircraft designers have since taken advantage of computer simulations to discover wing and body shapes that alter the way the aircraft displaces air. Shapes that blunt the points of the N wave, decrease perceived loudness substantially. The N wave can be shaped into something close to a sine wave, making the boom nearly inaudible to people on the ground. Such low and no boom designs have already been tested in the field, and NASA's Langley Research Center has a live display for visitors to experience the amazing contrast between an explosive boom and the soft thump of the most advanced designs. Modern designs use a number of other strategies to reduce boom intensity. This includes use of carbon fiber bodies to reduce the aircraft's mass, flying at high altitudes where the atmosphere is thinner, and shaping the aircraft to displace the air as if it were more elongated than it actually is. This allows these aircrafts to fly supersonic across continents and in most places with noise restrictions. There is a limited downside to these aircraft. However, they are quite small in capacity, meaning that although they can get there faster, you have to have more of them to achieve what a modern wide-body aircraft can. The estimates at the moment suggest that the fuel usage of these modern planes could be as high as 7 to 8 times as much as a wide-body aircraft. However, this is a top-end estimate, and in reality it could be much lower. As well as this, these aircraft can get to their destination in roughly a quarter of the time, meaning that a day trip to New York and back is highly possible, giving reason for the higher ticket prices. We are still in the early days of quiet and efficient supersonic aircraft development. The predictions on what these new planes will be able to achieve are based on guesses and what has happened in the past. The safety standard has since increased dramatically, but the aviation industry has taken a big hit due to the global pandemic, causing the demand for aircraft to drop by over 60%. Will we see these aircraft take to the skies this decade, or is supersonic travel destined to fail, just like it has in the past?